you doing, man? One workout. Speed on swimming now. I know I kind of left you alone on your ride. I feel better, but I just didn't know at the time what I was doing. Now I have everything. Thanks for joining me. Live on YouTube as well. Should have started YouTube and TikTok instead of Snapchat. We got 11,000 people on Snapchat, but not anybody on these two except for enough to go live. What up, man? Yeah. Send stuff in here. This share button. Yeah. There we go. Hide my hair a little bit. Again, I don't know if you can see it very well, screen on screen, but live on YouTube as well. There. I have a Snapchat where most of my followers hang out at. Hold on, right. Sorry, better angle. Yeah, just some one stretches. Always use a lightweight. Not a workout, just a stretch, just getting your muscles. The weight helps, obviously. Like I always stress, I really want to start the thing where keep your legs moving, not stop. Like if you're not working them out, I'm on a week. I start doing it with my lives on gaming. And eventually, hopefully, have one of the virtual reality ones. And that's what I'll be doing. So, be able to look back at this YouTube live and remember who we started, where everything came from. There. Now you guys got like the same angle, if you will. Let's see. Look me up on YouTube, same name. Still figuring out all my angles. Just like anybody should. Workouts, obviously, with the city. I got the chest, all that stuff. some movies, if you will. Yeah, it is to hopefully show you how consistency working out non-stop, hopefully, with the whole leg routine. Be hard at first, but if you're not on the treadmill, if you're not squatting, you're going to be sitting, cycling. It's good to know. I really hope this YouTube live streams so I can edit this in. What idea? We get the GoPro done. Why not? What was we doing today, dude? Start lifting this too. Dominic 290 with it, man. If you like or you follow morning exercises, stretches, be lifting here after a little bit. This is where you can still sit, cycle. Setting up chairs and get the day started, the live started. 11,000 on Snapchat, we got that covered.
overcome that fear, you have to pull the trigger. You have to initiate action. So do not pause in that moment. Fight the procrastination with violence of action and get done the things you need to get done and get them done now. I want you today to decide, I am going to become disciplined. That should be your only goal, because if you what you want to have, where you would like to be, is the one you're focused on. Other questions. What are you willing to sacrifice? Through how many different pains, conflicts, challenges are you willing to go through? It's not going to get more easy. The higher altitude, the more difficult it becomes. The challenges are not going to get easier the higher you reach. There's two sides of pain that I don't think a lot of people really understand. Right? There's one side of pain that's the suffering and the discomfort side of pain, because that hurts. You remember what that feels like. But then there's another side of pain that's called effort. It's called glory. It's called, you can find a way to push through pain. There's something greater on the other side of it. Imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed when your time comes?
Being a human being is not easy as opposed to an animal, because we're born and nobody gives us a direction. It's a very, very difficult process. You wake up in the morning and you don't really know what you can do. You can choose 12 different paths. It can be very confusing and very overwhelming. When you find that sense of purpose, when you find what I call your life's task, everything has a direction. Everything has a purpose. Your energy is concentrated. It's not like you're just going down a single narrow pathway. It's not like life becomes boring and it's just about discipline and solving problems. It's actually the most exciting thing that could ever happen to you, because you never have that lost feeling. You wake up in the morning, you go, yeah, this is what I need to accomplish.
Yesterday ended last night. If you were successful, I got something for you. It ended last night. You can't live on yesterday's success. If you failed, I got good news for you. It ended last night. Today matters.
You think that big changes are what are going to make you happy. That's not, because you're all the little things that you do. That's how you build a happier life. So pay attention to when you wake up. The first thing you look at every morning. Being kinder to yourself. The little things are everything, because they add up to one big happy life.
Real self-worth comes from doing hard things. We keep talking about self-love. We keep talking about loving yourself. That happens naturally when you go through something difficult.
The day that turns your life around. And under this subject, we're going to talk about the emotions that can go either way. Either build or destroy. So you really have to employ emotions properly. We call civilization the intelligent management. What can happen? Turn your life around one day would be sufficient.
You have to become the kind of person that can push through the hard times. Most people can't do that. Most people cannot push through the challenging, the draining, the frustrating times that make everybody else quit. So you have to build yourself into someone who has the discipline, the fortitude, the grit, the perseverance to become someone who is literally incapable of quitting.
What I've learned is to always keep going. Always. No matter what happens, the storm eventually ends. And when the storm does end, you want to make sure that you're ready.
Don't cheat yourself. Don't sabotage your dreams by chasing cheap dopamine. Delay your gratification. Understand that the game is long and the road is difficult, and that you're by yourself. And if you cheat yourself, well, you're going to be cheated by everybody else. Level up, focus on becoming the best version of yourself, and don't do the things in life that are going to set you back. That which you know you're not supposed to do, you do. The life that you have is a life that you chose. You have the life that you bother. Like a few years later and say, wow, look at me now. Some will stay down and they have courage and they have hope and life will get better. It always does. Loneliness is a timeless thing. Stoicism is founded in a moment of loneliness. Zeno loses everything in a shipwreck. Seneca's best writings come from exile when he's sent far away from the people that he loves. Marcus Aurelius is the most powerful man in the world, but also by the very nature of his power and responsibility and fame, he was isolated. He was lonely, just as you might be today. You have to start looking at uncertainty and transition and that feeling of, I know there's much more to me, as a positive and not a negative, and start leaning into it. Because let me tell you something, there is so much more. Like, you haven't even figured out who you fully are. Like, that is a beautiful thing to know that there's still more to discover about yourself. There's still more to learn about yourself, you know, and that's a beautiful thing to know that, right? And so often we just allow fear, doubt, or I want to control everything to keep us from exploring that, from really, really, you know, stepping out of our shell and expanding who we really are.
Most people don't succeed in life because they're waiting for some sort of.
But as a matter of conscious experience, the read your life is always now. And I think this is a liberating truth about the nature of the human mind. In fact, I think there's probably nothing more important to understand about your mind than that, if you want to be happy in this world. The past is a memory. It's a thought arising in the present. The future is merely anticipated. It is another thought arising now. Okay, well, what we truly have is this moment.
It will not be easy. You will get knocked down. You will be copied. People may even try to destroy you. You will feel like giving up, and it absolutely will be worth it. If world class was easy, everyone would be doing it.
The people will never rise above the opinion of themselves. Work on yourself. What do you want to choose to focus on? Just see.
Know everything about how you're feeling. So be patient and give yourself time. Because even with all the uncertainty, one thing, you will get there. Just remember, slow progress is better than no progress. Just stay positive and never give up. You will get there. However you do it, you're willing to try to get you to follow. Do it. We have created a fictitious
a roof to our expectations of ourselves. Life's not easy. We're all destined to have to do the thing that we fear the most anyway. But the money comes in, break comes to you. If you let it animal when you're rolled out, it's a one-way street. Whichever way I go. Say what you can do what you say. I didn't know. No, see, you're going to try it out beforehand, but when it's time to go, dive. Finish and find out. Run to the other side. Don't leave it and go. Ooh, if I just would. That keeps me up there. Half-ass something you just don't know. Whether you fail or succeed, got what you want or didn't get what you want. Finding out. Looking in the mirror and going, I didn't have asked. I went all the way. I found out. That's a English. Yeah. What you're about to say and do will outlive you. Do it well. If life was nothing but green lights and we didn't have those reds, things that make us pause, hardships, crises, times for introspection, then what the hell would it all be for? We need the yellows and the reds. That's how we evolve. That's how over the ascension to our being. If anything, I think about 50 fail more. Anything I can do, it'll fail more. Forget them. Those people on the side that are saying the thumbs down and being snarky, they're on the sidelines for a reason. You're not getting past this today, this week, this month, this year, also in the decade, and you're still holding on. And you can't get rid of that thing because it's holding you back from going where you want to go. It's just deny it. It'll never get out there. Kick it in the head. Kick it off the curb. I'm done with you. I'm sick of you. I'm tired of hanging out with you. I'm tired of that thing, whatever it is, holding me back from going where I want to go. Happiness is an emotional response to an outcome. If I win, I will be happy. If I don't, I won't. It's an if-then, cause and effect, quid pro quo, standard that we cannot sustain because we immediately raise it every time we attain it. See, happiness demands a it is result reliant. And I say happiness is what you're after, then you're going to be let down frequently, and you're going to be unhappy much of your time. Joy, though. Joy is different than something else. Joy is not a choice. It's not a response to some result. It's a constant. Joy is the feeling that we have from doing what we are fashioned to do. Under the outcome. We like to say, no, freedom and light is the one that parents, man, I don't know, that's maybe too evolved for us to really grab all the rage and anger and revenge are mighty powerful emotions. And this is the beauty of delayed gratification. Like, tee yourself up, do yourself a favor, make the choices to purchases today that pay you back tomorrow. The choices we make compounding assets of our future, you need to hold yourself more accountable. Life is not easy, it is not. Don't try to make it that way. Life's not fair, it never was, it isn't now, and it won't ever be. Do not fall into the trap, the entitlement trap, of feeling like you're a victim. You are not. Get over it and get on with it. There's a responsibility to freedom, and that there is freedom in responsibility.
There you go.
It is just as important where we are not as it is where we are. The first step that leads to our identity life is usually not, I know who I am. That's the first step. The first step's usually, I know who I am not. Defining ourselves by what we are not is the first step that leads us to really knowing who we are. You know that group of friends that you hang out with, they gossip too much or kind of shady. They really aren't going to be there for you, bitch. Or how about that bar we keep going to that we always seem to have the worst hangover from?
or that computer screen that keeps getting us confused not to get out of the house and engage with the world and get some real cheap interaction. I bet that food that we keep eating, that stuff that tastes so good going down, it makes us feel like crap the next week, we feel lethargic when we keep putting on weight. I bet that for those people, those places, those things, stop giving them your time and energy. When you quit giving them your time, you inadvertently find yourself spending more time and in more places that are healthy for you, that bring you more joy. Why? Because you just eliminated the who, the where, the what's, and the when that were keeping you from your identity. I promise you, too many options will make a tyrant of us all. I said, get rid of the excess, the wasted time. Decrease your options. If you do this, you will accidentally, almost innocently, put inside of you what is important to you. A process of elimination. It's something that you're not. And if you start eliminating who I'm not, by sheer mathematics, you end up
Mr. Marlowe was 94 years old. As a young college student, he said, "Few weeks he was for about 2 over here in money. That's about time. I've had many crises in my life. Most of them are right.
You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Hey, bro, can you just promise me one thing, bro? Promise me that for the next 6 months, you'll give it your all. No averageness, no laziness, no excuses, just pure effort. And truth be told, that's all that you're missing. It's just effort. If you just block out the noise, get off the ground, get off your phone, tell your weaknesses no, and tell your strengths yes, I promise you by the end of the year, you'll be in a totally different situation. But I can't win it more than you. You gotta make that choice.
You can't be mad.
Let's see what you do, bro.
Parker, if a person walked a day in her pain shoes, they would fall apart. Do you know the strength it even takes to take one step forward as you? And how easily you discount the weight that your life carries. People love to judge from the sidelines, but if they were put in the game, they would strike out on their first try. And I think that because I carry that pain, it makes me weak. That pain does not make me weak. It is a sign that I am strong enough to carry it.
You are doing just fine. I promise you are. And I know they feel like life's kicking your butt right now. And it very well may be. I mean, let's be honest. It's not easy. But it doesn't change the fact that you're still here.
Start living like a savage who deserves success, abundance, happiness, security, prosperity, legacy, meaning, fulfillment, significance, purpose.
What you find out is most people don't really want it. Most people are scared to go on. Most people are scared to sacrifice themselves. And then I realized that, man, there's no shame to admit that you're afraid. And when I made peace with that, it changes everything in my life. Whether you're a fighter, an entrepreneur, or whatever, it's with the preparation. The more you prepare, the more you will build up your confidence.
You're still kicking. And with all the other countless battles we've had to fight just to get to this point here, it says a lot about you. You should give yourself some credit for that.
And if no one's told you in a while, I'm proud of you. I admire your strength. I think the first thing a person needs is they need a dream. You gotta have a dream. I don't know how people survive in life with any kind of peace or happiness or fulfillment without having a dream. A dream needs to be something that there is a possibility of fulfilling. Otherwise, it's not a dream, it's a fantasy. But you need a dream. And don't be afraid to dream big. You know, the saying is that if your dreams don't scare you to death, they're not big enough. Your dream needs to be bigger than you are right now.
There's a specific person that you gotta get out of your life right now. It's the person that wants to remind you of who you were. It's the person who wants to remind you of how you used to be, what you used to do, how you used to do it. That used to person's dead. Anybody who wants to resurrect that person cannot be in your life. There is nothing more important than getting people out of your life that want to pretend you're the person you were yesterday. They want to act like you're the person you were yesterday. You're evolving, you're growing, you're advancing. You need to be focused on you right now, and anybody that wants to bring you back, anybody that wants to pretend you are the same person that they knew 1, 2, 6, 7 years ago, get them the hell out of your life. Trajectory. Focus on your trajectory. You can't keep living in this all or nothing mentality where you have to do the perfect set of perfect things in the perfect order, just like that guy you follow on Instagram does. That guy's full-time job is personal development. He gets paid to sit in a cold plunge. You don't. You are going to make mistakes. You are going to mess up. So if you have that all or nothing mentality, when it's not all, it's going to be nothing. You're going to be the guy that gets one flat tire and then gets out of his car and slashes the other 3 simply because he doesn't have 4 perfectly inflated tires. Makes no sense. The measuring stick is not, am I perfect? The measuring stick is, did I get closer to who I want to be, or did I get further away? Am I moving in the right direction? Am I going down the right path? Focus on path over perfection.
You're doing this for you. And this is something I've only realized relatively recently, but after a certain level of material comfort, the only person that you need to do this thing for is you. Your conscience knows when you're being honest and when you're not. I think optimizing to make that person happy, that conscience happy, is a really good idea.
What if problems were always gifts? What if every single problem really was a gift in your life? What if every problem you ever had was life happening for you, not to you? What if everything in our lives was guided? What if everything in our life was divine timing? Everything, even the pain. What are you going to do when no one's watching? Are you going to operate to your standard, or are you going to cut corners? I can tell you this, dude. I try very fucking hard to operate in my standard all the time, 24 hours a day, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching, because that's when you actually gain more of the discipline and strength that you need to uphold. I think every single is an mission statement and a vision for our lives. People don't. Most people just go along with the flow. They swing into someone else's vision, and they stay there for a little bit, and they swing into someone else's for a little bit. And then they get to be older in life, and they're like, why the f is nothing worked out for me? Well, the reason nothing's worked out for you is because you don't live what you say you're about. You don't have a plan for yourself. You don't have a mission for yourself. You try to cut the corners when no one's watching. Bro, you'll lose that. That's just it.
It's always harder, takes longer, and costs more than you think it will. It makes sense because if it did it, then everyone would have it. And if everyone had it, then it wouldn't be worthwhile. And so if it's hard, that's amazing because it will make you that much harder once you conquer it. And it will also make it harder for anybody else who wants to follow in your footsteps. And so the higher up the mountain you climb, the thinner the air gets, and the rarer the climber or explorer must be in order to get there.
If you can survive temporary pain, on the other side of temporary pain, you will meet another version of you. Every
time I wanted to quit, I didn't make a decision to not quit the rest of my life. I made a decision not to quit for one more day. One more day to so quit. One more day hang up.
People who win are disciplined about winning. They don't just casually take a look at this. They don't just casually try something. They jump in with both feet because they absolutely intend to win at it. And that's going to require discipline and consistency on your part. As you start to study, you're going to learn things. You're going to learn the skills that you need. That's going to require discipline on you. All of which, by the way, you can learn any of these skills. You can learn anything. But you're going to have to be disciplined.
There's this revered master who everybody wants to study under, and it's almost impossible to get to him. And so he's interviewing candidates, and the aspiring samurai comes to him and says, "How long will it take me to be a master?" And he says, 10 years. And so then the young samurai, eager to kind of prove himself, he's like, well, what if I work twice as hard and I work day and night to become a master? How long will it take then? And so the master sits back and looks at him and says, 20 years. The young samurai is like, wait, what? How can it take twice as long if I'm working harder? The master replies, if you have one eye fixed on your destination, then you only have one eye left to find your way.
But I think what's truly important is the ability to detach yourself from the outcome. It is one of the most important things that I have adopted in my life. Set the goal, know where you want to go, know where you're aiming, and then let it go. It's possible, in fact, it's probable and likely, it might take you longer. And so what if it does? If it does, you're still making forward progress every single day. It's really important that we understand that better is not always visible. You can be getting better and it not be public, because very often private victories will precede public accomplishments.
Most people never pick up the phone and call. Most people never ask. And that's what separates sometimes the people that do things from the people that just dream about them. You gotta act. And you've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to crash and burn. You know, with people on the phone, with starting a company, with whatever. If you're afraid of failing, you won't get very far.
You need discipline. You need personal discipline. There's times when you don't feel like doing what needs to be done to get this. But you got to say, feelings has nothing to do with it. This is my dream. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do the things that I don't feel like doing. I'm going to do the things I don't want to do. I'm going to do the things that don't come easy to me, that do not come natural to me. I'm going to get up and do it. You can't live your life on feelings.
Loneliness. It's a feeling we all experience, though it's rarely something we talk about. When it creeps in, it can feel overwhelming, suffocating even, as though you've been cast aside, forgotten, or left to face the world alone. But here's a thought. What if loneliness wasn't something to run from? What if instead it held the keys to a deeper understanding of yourself? Loneliness is often misunderstood. It's painted as emptiness, as a void that needs to be filled with people, noise, or distractions. In reality, loneliness isn't the absence of connection. It's the opportunity to reconnect with yourself. In a world that's always pulling you in a million directions, solitude is a rare and powerful thing. We live in a culture that glorifies being busy, being surrounded, being plugged in. We equate a full social calendar or an endless stream of notifications with a full life. And when that quiet moment comes, when the noise fades and the distractions stop, loneliness feels like failure, as if being alone somehow makes you incomplete. That's the misconception. Loneliness isn't about what's missing outside of you. It's about what you have yet to find within yourself. When everything else is stripped away, and the spotlight dims, and the crowd disperses, you're left with the one person who will always be with you, yourself. And that's where the real work begins. There's a reason so many of life's breakthroughs happen in the quiet. When you're alone, you're forced to face the parts of yourself that are often buried under the noise. The insecurities you try to ignore, the dreams you've been too afraid to pursue, the questions you're too distracted to answer. Solitude gives you the space to reflect, to feel, to grow. It's in those quiet moments that you start to see yourself clearly. Not the version of you that you present to the world, but the real you. The one with doubts and fears and flaws, but also strength and resilience and untapped potential. It doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't happen when you're surrounded by constant validation or external noise. It happens when you're willing to sit with yourself, to embrace the discomfort of being alone, and to use it as a chance to understand who you are and what you want. Silence has a way of bringing clarity, of stripping away the distractions and feeling what truly matters. In solitude, you can hear your own thoughts without interference. You can tune into the voice inside you, the one that gets drowned out in the chaos of daily life. What is that voice telling you? What dreams have you put on hold? What truths have you been avoiding? Loneliness doesn't just leave you with questions. It gives you the space to find answers. And those answers, they're the foundation for the life you're meant to create. Instead of seeing loneliness as a problem to solve, try seeing it as a tool to use. Use it to reconnect with yourself.
The ability to be comfortable in your own company is a rare and powerful thing. It means you're not afraid of the quiet, of the stillness, of the moments when it's just you and your thoughts. It means you've built a foundation within yourself that doesn't crumble when the world around you shifts. When you learn to value your own company, loneliness stops feeling like a burden. It becomes a choice, a time to recharge, to reflect, to reconnect. It becomes a reminder that you are enough, exactly as you are. Here's the reality. The time you spend alone is never wasted. It's where the most important growth happens. It's where you learn what you stand for, what you value, and what kind of life you want to build. Loneliness can be painful, yes, but it can also be transformative. It can teach you resilience. It can help you find clarity. It can show you that your strength doesn't come from the people around you. It comes from within. If you're feeling lonely right now, don't run from it. Sit with it. Embrace it. Use it as an opportunity to grow, to reflect, to reconnect with the person you're becoming. This is your time to build something extraordinary, not outside of you, but within you. Loneliness isn't the absence of connection. It's the space where you rediscover yourself. And in that space, you'll find everything you've been looking for.
Look, you got hair on this one. And look, did you just do this? Did you?
Crossing that river of change from the old self to the new self, there's a neurological, a biological, chemical, hormonal, and genetic death of the old self. But if you teach people there's something on the other side, they won't themselves. The one start getting beyond themselves, and that magic starts to happen. Then I have no idea. I can't predict what's going to happen next, and it's usually pretty exciting.
I'll give you one because this one is profoundly impactful. You're more likely to believe something negative than you are something positive. Think about how that can echo through your life. Each of us has to realize that all of the beliefs that we have in our life are choices. The scary part of the most important beliefs in your life is most of them are invisible.
No one's going to do anything for you. Couple rules of being a real leader. You need to take responsibility for your own life. Nobody owes you anything, but you owe other people everything. That's what a leader does. You take responsibility. You know exactly right now what you're not doing. You know exactly what you're afraid of. You know exactly what you can avoid. And you got to make a decision to change it. You know exactly what it is. Don't BS anybody. You know what you need to make. And stop kidding yourself. You can win. You can overcome your fear. Overcome.
Start that. But teach yourself how to start to find things that are positive so that you can become healthier, so that you can change how you think.
But most of us take a choice that makes us feel good. It means I want to check off every single box of all the possibilities of what I'm supposed to be in life. Leave nothing to question.
The people out there that are extraordinary, they could do something amazing with their lives, but they won't because they don't believe in themselves. Figure out what that thing is, that huge goal that you have, why you want it, because chances are that you're going to be able to do it in smaller ways along the way. If it makes you feel heavy, daunted, and terrified to pursue it because you're obsessing over the end goal, it's some like traditional marker of success, money, a big company, whatever, and not how you want to help people, then it's just a matter of reframing. If, on the other hand, is because you think you want that thing, but you don't actually want it, and so the idea of pursuing it and all that you would have to do to get there is just horrifying to you, then yes, you've picked the wrong goal. Just remember, don't chase something because people have told you that you should want it. Literally just look at what gives you more energy than it takes.
You need a pathway. You need to know, you need to have a map, and you need to know where you're located on the map, and you need to know how you're moving forward. And that gives you hope because you're moving towards goals that you regard as worthwhile. And it stops you from being anxious because you're not entirely directionless and lost. And so learning how to manage your time is useful. And you could start with a calendar. You could start with simple things like you can put in, well, when you're likely to go to bed and when you're likely to get up. And regulating that's useful. That should be relatively ritualistically consistent.
Nobody changes until they change their energy. And when you change your energy, you change your life. You're disconnected from the energy of your future. You got to be greater than the conditions in your environment. You got to maintain that state of being. You got to be greater than the habits and emotions of your body. And you got to sustain it for an extended period of time. So when you no longer are identifying with your body, your environment, and time, that's the moment you're pure consciousness. So then if the brain can change, then the mind doesn't change the brain. Mind is the brain in action, it's consciousness. So when people begin to disengage and get beyond themselves, you are at your absolute best when you get beyond yourself. They reach that generous present moment where they just feel connected.
It's not about the reasoning. You can do anything you like, but it's why are you doing it?
You have fat set points, we have financial set points, we have relationship set points. We have these set points that we become accustomed to achieving. And then all of the supporting evidence, the stories, the themes, the top lines, the perceptions and behavior all must match the set point. And so you can ask yourself two questions. Number one is, how did that set point get there? And then how do I change it? Right? So how it got there is through all of your conditioning, through what you've read, what you've done, what you've experienced, what you've been told, what you've seen. All of that is created based on your story. And so the first thing to recognize is the set point can be changed. And the question is how? What drives behavior more than anything else? It's not skill, it's not knowledge. Skill and knowledge is potential power, but what does drive behavior more than anything else is beliefs. And so if there is a belief in the brain that says, yes, I think I'm capable of achieving double my income. But there's another belief that opposes that. That causes what we know as neural dissonance. So it creates a chaotic vibration in the brain between the conscious and non-conscious. Alignment between the new. You're the weakest person on the planet Earth. So how do you develop a belief, right? So it's a pattern. So if I gave you a sentence that 20, 30 you know that using, let's say, visualization, you're bypassing the conscious mind and you're accessing the visual cortex of the brain. It's a non-conscious process. And so if we take words and we affirm them and we feel them and we visualize them, now create a pattern at the non-conscious level in conscious desire. Can't hurt me. I want people to have that mantra in their life. Take it everywhere you go in life. And if you believe that and you work towards that, callous in your mind, strengthen yourself. Can't hurt me is strong. But you say it enough to you. False motivation becomes real motivation after a while.
And the problem with all this is that when you do it habitually, or when you complain as just a default mode and you don't realize how much you're doing it, you're allowing your mind to filter the world a certain way, and you're allowing yourself to live an existence where your own thoughts are poisonous.
Life in society made this big world with all these endless possibilities. Endless possibilities. My life made my possibilities this big because it made me afraid of all these different things. So all this stuff trapped my mind, it shackled my brain, it made me a prisoner within my own self, saying this is all I can do. Because why? I'm afraid of this, I'm insecure over here, I got self-doubt over here, that behind me, good Lord, who knows what's behind me? I'm gonna look behind me. So your life is this big. Versus it being like, I can do all this shit out here if I start to break down these these different walls and barriers. Because I was afraid. But you overcome those fears, guess what happens? The whole world, you unlock this door and everything opens back up again.
As long as we are on this planet, you're going through two things. You're going through recovery and discovery. Recovery of our past, recovery of what we're dealing with right now, and then discovery. Identity is a key, because if we don't know who we are, we're gonna be chasing our identity for our whole life. And so I believe that when you find out where you came from, who you are, and what your purpose is, you cannot be stopped. And it's this whole idea of you've been born an original, don't die complete. But my challenge is that what my true identity was not true.
The next few minutes, I'm going to talk about you. I want you to just think about you for a moment. I want you to think about your life. I want you to think about how you're living versus how you'd really like to live.
When you set goals, when you have an intention on something that you want to change about your life, your brain helps you. What it does is it opens up a checklist, and then your brain goes to work trying to remind you. And I say that word purposefully, the skill of knowing how to hear that inner wisdom and that intention kicking in and leaning into it quickly. I could not undo these things. Isn't that why it's so difficult for you to make changes in your life? Because you think that things can't be undone? The fact is, any excuse that you come up with, you can undo. Tuition can be reimbursed, apartments can be leased, Plan B can be invented. So I got up, I repacked that U-Haul, and I drove out of town. I let myself make a U-turn in life.
Oh yeah? You too.
Got to aim at something. It's like otherwise your life is meaningless. Well, what should you aim at? Well, I don't know. Well, pick something. Pick something. Aim at it. As you move toward it, you'll get wiser. Then maybe your aim won't change. That's okay. But at least it'll change in an informed way. It's like discipline yourself in one dimension. You see what happens. That's exciting. And I think that's something that's open for everyone. You can do that. I shouldn't say that because I don't believe that. I think you can find yourself in a situation that's so dire that either there's no escape from it. But that doesn't matter because this is the hero myth might not be the best we have, might not always work, but it's still the best we have. And the fact that it might not work doesn't mean you should throw it away. It's still the best we have. I mean, everyone dies, and so we fail in some sense. The fact that a symphony ends doesn't mean that it wasn't worth listening to.
If you ever find your gut battling your head, save yourself the drama. I guarantee you your gut is right. Guarantee you your excuses can be undone. And I guarantee you you can make a U-turn in your life right now if you want to.
Desire is there. Again, it's about how do you go from knowledge to action. So the first thing in this story that's important is realizing that the answer was in you. And my mind was telling me, pay attention. Remember, your brain is wired to stop you from doing things that are uncomfortable or uncertain or scary. It's your job to learn how to move from those ideas that could change everything into acting on it.
Everyone visualizes, whether he realizes it or not. Visualization is one of the great secrets of success. That's where we build a picture in our mind. When Van Gogh was asked, how do you do such beautiful work? He said, I dream my painting, and then I paint my dream. Well, that's the way it works. Solomon said, where there is no vision, the people will perish. And that doesn't mean they're going to die. It means the results are going to get weaker and weaker and weaker, and they're just not going to be making it happen the way they want to. Everyone visualizes, whether he realizes it or not. Visualization is a great secret of success, and it intensifies your wisdom and enables you to make use of advantages you formerly failed to recognize.
I think, if everything starts with a thought. I mean, everything that you do in your life, you have to have a thought before you initiate an action, right? So if you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, like any great leader in history understands that, the first thing you have to do is you have to decide, are you going to be defined by a vision of the future, or are you going to live by the memories of the past?
It's harsh that the rewards of life are indiscriminately distributed, but it doesn't help. It doesn't help to become bitter.
Most people wake up in the morning, and your brain is a record of past. It's an artifact of everything you've learned and experienced to this moment, right? It's a memory bank. So most people wake up in the morning and they start thinking about their problems, and those problems are connected to certain people and things at certain times and places. And the moment they start turning on those circuits, those memories are actually causing them to think in the past. Every single one of those memories has an emotion associated with them, and emotions are the end product of past experiences. So then the moment they recall the event or they recall some problem in their life, they start feeling unhappy, they start feeling discouraged, they start feeling anxious. Now, thoughts are the language of the brain, and feelings are the language of the body, and how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So we could say that most people's entire state of being when they start their day is in the familiar past. Well, if you live in the familiar past, then it makes sense you're going to create the predictable future. There isn't a better way to live your life. There's no right way and wrong way. There is only the way that gives you more energy. There is only the way that gives you fulfillment. When you have those things, when you're fulfilled by what you're doing, and it's giving you, the harder you pursue it, it's giving you more energy, you're on the right path.
as the Greeks would say, segolodromo, which means you're on a good road. And that's what I want people to understand. But I don't think that it is a universal path. And so the only universal path is to do the things that give you fulfillment and energy. So if spending time with your friends gives you that, then you should be spending more time with your friends. If dating gives you that, then you should be dating. So you don't need to want to be the best in the world at something. You don't need to want to make a lot of money. You don't need to want to be an entrepreneur. Like they're literally just stand-ins. They're proxies for fulfillment and energy creation. That's it. So those are the punchlines of what's the meaning of life and all that stuff. It is to do something that makes you feel a deep sense of well-being, I'll call fulfillment, and something that gives you energy, where you're literally excited to attack the day.
I start with identities because I think that's the root of all our challenges. Is starting at the root, not starting at the symptoms or the superficial or the surface level. But let's go to the root. If you're playing a role, if you're wearing a mask, if you're dressed in clothes that are not yours, then you end up living a life that's not yours. Because guess what? When you fake being someone for so long, you think it's your reality. And that's what happens to all of us. We play a role at work, we play a role at home, we play a role with our family, we play a role with our friends, and then we think that role is us. And we lose ourselves. And to me, that is the core reason why we're chasing things that are not important to us.
A lot of you that are running from things instead of running to things. And that's a huge difference, running from something versus running to something. And so I want you to think about that for a minute, because you don't have to move across country to change your life. And you don't have to do something drastic to experience drastic positive change. And here's the thing about running away from your problems, running away from your past. Have you ever noticed that when you run away, it tends to follow you?
All we have, which everybody talks about, is this moment, this precious second right now. So the more I could be here right now, the more I'm living, the life that I want to live. Too much about the future, too much about the past. I can use those as something to, hope for in the future, as a guiding post from the past. But right now is the moment that every one of us has.
I never really aspired to happy because happy is usually determined by external factors. I go for the joy. Because when you have joy at home, when you have joy inside, it don't matter much what's going on down here. You understand? You got your joy. And you can come home to your joy no matter what is going on in the world. Far too many of us have our happiness, our peace, our joy, our value, our worth hooked into some external stimulation. And then we wonder why we're stressed out and overweight and can't sleep.
Why the hell are you hitting the note?
You have those scars in your brain from life. But what we don't do is we try to hide those scars. We don't want to go back and revisit it. So I started realizing that my life was causing a whole bunch of scarring on my brain. And I had to go back and really break open that scar and let it bleed. And that was a very painful journey for me to go back. Who are you letting ruin your dreams? What scorecard are you judging yourself by? Screw that. This is your time. This is your opportunity. This new world that we live in with access like you're listening to me right now, access to so much knowledge. We have access to information. This is your time. There's no better time. There's no different time. This is your time. The only way it'll happen is if you change the story in your head. If you say, change the scorecard, change your desires, find your passion. When people tell you stop dreaming, tell them, I'm sorry you gave up on yours. I'm not quite there yet. That's the response you need to share. Every day I'm winning. Every day I'm winning the other voice in my head. So I'm at peace with myself. The things I do for fun are like me bettering myself. But I also love accomplishing and overcoming myself every day. Because every day is about
Every day is a battle because your mind wants to choose the path of least resistance. Every day. But you don't become better by ever doing that. You become normal. And I don't want to be normal. So it may not be a life for everybody, but I find a lot of peace in not being normal in my life.
Dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. Goals on the road to achievement cannot be achieved without discipline and consistency.
As Shakespeare noted, there's nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. There's nothing good or bad, right? There's just stimulus and then there's response. But people think that it is objectively a certain way. So now because they think it is objectively a certain way, they feel they are supposed to react based on those emotions that are getting kicked up in their mind. If you want to always be moving towards your goal, you want to be optimized, you got to learn to get control of your emotions. You've got to learn to understand to tell yourself a narrative that isn't predicated on necessarily identifying what is objectively true, because I don't think that we experience the world that way. It's identifying what's going to work to get me to my goal.
Your joy, your sadness, your happiness, your misery is determined by something or somebody around you. The chances of you being joyful in your life is remote. Is it true that human experience, joy or misery, agony, ecstasy, madness or sanity, everything is created from inside? At least if you're a manager, if you're going to be a manager, at least what is happening from within you must happen your way. Because essentially management means having situations the way we want it. Yes. Management means what? Having situations the way we want it. Well, if the world is not happening your way, at least this one must be happening your way, otherwise what kind of management is this?
I want you that the human brain is a EF and beyond. It wants to go in that direction. Creativity is not a function of some freakish genetic thing that occurs in the brains of a few people. It is instead the function of awakening and exploiting the natural creativity we all possess. Well, highly creative people have both. They have the knowledge and the experience, plus mental fluidity, which gives them the ability to see more possibilities in the world around them and to maximize, to realize to its fullest, the natural connecting power of the human brain.
You know, it's really find who someone is at their core and start from that place. It can be really confusing. I think it's always a discovery process. Find moments in our life, you know, that's kind of a helpful framework, is to figure out what are the times in our life when we felt connected and in the moment. We feel like we were rooted in what I would call a spiritual experience, based about being in this beautiful moment and going, gosh, I'm exactly where I need to be and this is who I am. So I find it's helpful people to first figure out what are the, and that starts to create a framework for someone realizing, okay, those moments, I can kind of describe who I am.
Is terribly obvious to me what you are working on, what skills you're trying to develop, what projects you're trying to grow, or is every day another? Because listen, if every day is another reaction day, you are in a fixed mindset. Write it down. If every day is another reaction day, you
acquire the skill to be comfortable and change. The meaning that I give, remember I said you have to reframe things? The meaning I give birth to a part of yourself that you don't know right now. No one's coming back to help me. So it starts with that person in that mirror.
You have to realize you are on your own now. And even, I don't care what you believe in, but on earth, it's a very low journey. And it starts with the accountability mirror, looking and saying, hey, all these things are coming back. I have to face myself. And you have to own all those things that people may have done to you. Now it's yours. You got to own it. It's yours now to fix the problems that people did to you. It makes no sense. It's not fair. I get it. But if you live in that woe is me mentality of guess what? My dad did this to me. My mom did this to me. People who bully did this to me. You're going to always live right there. You have to figure out ways to move forward because you're not coming back.
Indiscriminate. Only when your attention and involvement is indiscriminate does the universe open up to you. Because life is happening because of its openness. This is a fundamental difference between death and life is, people are thinking it's just breath, all right, on one level. That is also openness. Whether you allow this to happen or you don't allow it to happen. Whether you did it consciously or unconsciously, but it's happening, isn't it? Openness is on every subatomic particle, is in communication with everything. That's why this is going on. Breath is happening, so much is happening in connection with everything. It is only in openness you're alive. As you close doors, you're dying in installments. If I live within my mind in a place of inadequacy, let's take one that's very common for people, like I'm not enough somehow, right? Like I'm not young enough, I'm not fast enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm not wealthy enough, whatever it is, I'm not good enough, then that becomes like this sort of linguistic prison that somebody lives